Hey Jeremiah, are you having your morning cup of joe?
Every day.
Every day. Me too. I love coffee.
As do I.
Did you know that in addition to just tasting really good, coffee has significant health benefits?
Beyond just waking me up in the morning?
Yes,
No.
totally.
What?
Yes, it totally does.
Like what?
So it has been linked to decreasing risk of neurodegenerative disorders, which that's a big one. Who doesn't want their noggin to not go weak, right?
Yeah.
Decreased risk of heart disease, decreased risk of diabetes, many of the different things that kill people in old age, so that's kind of a really cool thing. And in fact, decreased risk of all-cause mortality.
So basically, in general, anything that could kill me, coffee is basically fighting against it just a little bit.
It seems like it, and it's not just observational studies.
Yeah.
It is also controlled trials. And there's been a lot of study done on it.
Interesting.
So I noticed your coffee is a strange color.
Well,
what do you have in there?
Besides the point, okay, I might have some creamer in
You
here.
got creamer in there.
Yeah, I'm not a black coffee guy anymore.
Interesting. Arnold Schwarzenegger in his newsletter, which is actually pretty good, had a study that they kind of brought to the attention of the readers. 2025 from Tufts University, which looked at what happens to the benefits of the coffee when you start to add things into it, like creamer is very common, sugar is very common. And what they found is it really matters what you put in your coffee, whether the coffee is going to be a benefit to you or not.
I'm guessing it doesn't superpower it.
It does not superpower it, but depending on what you're putting in it.
Okay, fair.
So the big things on the study showed that things like creamer and things like added sugars, seed oils, all kinds of things that are in these creamers that they put in there are going to potentially negate and completely collapse all the health benefits you might get from the coffee itself.
So you're telling me going to Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts every day isn't making me live longer?
Well, if you had just the black coffee and not the donut, you might live a little bit longer.
Okay.
I think that's kind of the gist of the study.
Yeah. Okay, so there's got to be stuff that makes it healthier, right? Like not every creamer is as bad as other creamers, right?
I think there's, in my opinion, I think there's different gradients of creamers that, potentially are better or worse.
What about half and half? That's kind of the main go-to.
So, and half and half doesn't have a lot of other added ingredients to it. It's just a dairy product. It's just milk, heavily fat-laden milk, right?
No denying that.
So that is one of the things that they commented on in the studies is that things like putting in half and half, which is extremely normal to put in coffee, that basically, because of the high levels of saturated fat, half and half is about 50% by calorie content saturated fat.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Is one of the reasons why it might not be the best choice to put in your coffee.
Okay.
And study after study after study after study shows an association, also observational studies and controlled studies on saturated fat showing that it can cause problems if you intake too much of it. So why would you put a big old blob of it in your coffee in the morning if you're doing it every day?
Valid.
Maybe find something that's more helpful or better benefit to put into the coffee.
Okay, so half and half is What about Chobani coffee creamer? This is a really popular one.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people try that one out. Let's take a look at the ingredients here. First ingredient is milk. Second ingredient is cream. So again, we have the same saturated fat problem that we had with the other half and half. Third ingredient is cane sugar. So added sugars are the other thing that were highly kind of touted in the research as negating the positive benefits of the coffee. Natural flavors, which is many times code word for chemicals, are in this as well. So this is kind of crappy.
All right, are there any creamers that are, or anything I could add to my coffee that is actually beneficial to it? Is there anything that could superpower it?
Yes, you totally could. You could come up with maybe a mixture of, like, say, spices or cinnamon or something that you could put in your coffee that you could design on your own. Or one thing that I've been using a lot lately is called dirt food. So dirt food is just a little powder that you plop into your coffee. It's almost non-caloric, but it's a mixture of different spices. Ceylon cinnamon, turmeric, there's some pepper in there, there's some cayenne in there. It makes the coffee actually taste pretty darn good, and it only has like 5 or 10 calories in it. So you're basically eating, 0 calories in it. So I just feel it's a much healthier option. Also helps to negate some of the acidity from the coffee. It has a little bit of something in there to kind of buffer it a little bit and get it to be not quite so acidic. So I really like that one.
Yeah.
And when I first really got into, lifestyle medicine and health, that was one of the first things I did. I used to be an international creamers guy, and I plop that in my coffee every morning. But I got to tell you, I would like it this way, Jeremiah. Are you 4 years old?
No.
You're not, right? So do you have to have candy in your coffee?
No.
Is it Halloween every day? Are you trick-or-treating? Do you need to have candy with your coffee every day? Because a lot of those products with that high level of refined sugar in them, why not just take some Starbursts and plop them in there and mix it up? You're basically doing the same thing.
Fair.
So that's kind of where I came to, but this is something where you can put it in the coffee and maybe make it amplify the benefits of it, versus taking something that's really good for you and knocking it down several notches or destroying all the benefits. So I have this argument with my wife all the time, Jeremiah, because she still is on the international creamer in her coffee every day. And she's like, gosh, you know, it just isn't gonna taste good without it. It doesn't taste, you know, blah, blah, blah. So as a former, you know, refined sugar, chemical, saturated fat laden coffee person, it was interesting. Once you start to drink your coffee either black or just with maybe a spice blend in it, your taste buds acclimate. You basically rehab your taste bud. You make a kind of intervention. And once you start to drink the coffee that way, and you have to do it for a few days and like, you know, grit through it, like, oh my gosh, this tastes different, but you know, we're all adults, like we can handle it. Like we can get through it. There are tougher things than drinking coffee that doesn't have creamer in it. It's amazing how your taste buds change. You start to interact with the actual flavors in the coffee itself, you know, and I just think that that is something to think about. Like, and then if you would go back and you would put in, if I was to put in International Delight,
it'd be
creamer,
so sweet. Yeah,
it's so sweet and so like chemical tasting. Like, I don't think I would be able to even drink it. It would taste disgusting to me, you know. So, and I've tried it. It does, you know.
Good problem.
Yeah. So making that push to just kind of rehab your taste buds a little bit and getting it to the point where you actually enjoy a cup of coffee the way it was made to be enjoyed.
Well, that leads me to one more question. I love coffee. I drink a lot of it. Is there too much? What is too much?
Most of the research that I've read on that, it leads to the statement that moderate coffee drinkers are the ones that get these amazing benefits. You know, so that's kind of like in the 2 to 4 cups a day range. You know, I'm kind of a 4 cup a day type person. I love coffee. It's so cool, the fact that we can enjoy this beverage that actually, you know, makes us a little more energetic, that, you know, tastes great, and it's actually potentially going to extend our lifespan. Yeah. It'll keep our noodle from doodling, right?
Doodling. Just to clarify, we have 2 different cup sizes here. If you were to have 4 of this a day versus 4 of this a day, that might be worth clarifying, right?
Well, obviously,
so
this
when you
is
say
2
cups,
servings. This is 2 servings, you know.
Okay.
So it's 2 servings.
You mean 8 ounces cups, so up to 24 ounces, basically.
Whatever the serving size is of coffee, whatever they talk about a cup, it's probably more they're talking about the size of cup you have right there. Yeah. So 4 cups of this, and this is probably at least this is like a flagon of coffee. Yes, it'd be a little bit larger. Yes. Okay. Yes, good catch on that.
That is good to know. All
right, is there anything else we got to cover on coffee?
I don't know. Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy your coffee.
And don't ruin it with these additives and fake chemicals.
And added sugar and high levels of saturated fat or seed oils. Any of that kind of stuff has no place in coffee.
You ever heard of people putting butter in their coffee?
Oh, yeah, totally. So like, you know, you have the
crazy
whole
talk
bulletproof diet thing where you mix in the ghee butter into the coffee and MCT oil and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's a fascinating thing. I did that for years back in my younger days.
Tastes good, I won't lie.
It tastes good. It's very creamy. That actually does taste pretty good. And that approach, they typically don't advocate putting like refined sugar or chemicals into it. So you're going kind of more that kind of ketogenic kind of route. But, you know, I personally believe, and I think there's a lot of good information out there that supports this belief, that those massive levels of saturated fat that some of those people are doing, it might not have health ramifications in the first few months or the first year, but you are putting yourself at risk for some very serious issues over a longer period of time, 3 to 5 years out, maybe increased arteriosclerosis, plaques buildups in your arteries, your heart, all that kind of stuff. You know, and it was in fact the approach I was doing when I was originally diagnosed with heart disease. Yeah. So no more butter in my coffee. Shame. I know, sucks. I love butter.
Do I?
I wish butter was super good for you in high amounts.
Great. Yeah.
I wish I could just eat a stick of butter a day, but unfortunately, people, that's not the way it works.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Well, all right, y'all.
We will see you soon. Thanks for listening. Enjoy that coffee.
Have a good day.